Welcome to the Growth Catalyst Show, where we believe that growth could come in many forms: professional, personal, company, sales, you name it. I'm your host, Dan Mahony, founder of Transcendent Sales Solutions and a guide to a world of growth possibilities. I've spent my career empowering companies and their people with strategies that accelerate growth. I'm here to bring you stories of these business leaders and their trusted advisors to gain insights into their journeys and learn how they fuel their own growth. Just maybe their journey could become part of your own growth story. Are you ready? Let's grow. Welcome to the Growth Catalyst Show. I'm your host, Dan Mahony, and I'm so excited to have our special guest here today, Samantha McElhaney. Hey, Sam.
Hey. Yes, call me Sam.
Call you Sam, absolutely. So let me tell everyone a little bit about Sam. A 28-year banking veteran, Sam started her career as a retailer teller while attending college in Memphis, Tennessee. After 12 years in retail consumer banking, in relocating to Atlanta, Georgia with her family, Sam joined SunTrust as a business banker and began helping small to mid-sized business owners with their deposits, lending, and cash management needs. While at Fifth Third Bank, Sam became knowledgeable of SBA underwriting and lending and used that skill set with her. It took that skill set with her to Southside Bank, and it's now with Pinnacle Financial Partners. Sam resides in Woodstock, Georgia with her twin daughters who are attending University of Alabama and University of South Carolina separately. Sam is actively involved in numerous community organizations, including leadership with North Point Community Churches. She is an ovarian cancer survivor, remission since 2017, as a big advocate for educating women on benefits of self-care. Samantha, welcome to the show.
Hi. Yeah, that was a lot.
That was a lot, Sam. So tell me, tell me about your growth. I mean, you have been in banking since it seems like forever. I mean, when you were going to college in Memphis, Tennessee, did you decide I just want to be a banker when I grow up? Was this always kind of your goal?
No, actually, my best friend since 8th grade, we played church basketball together. And she convinced me that in order to play basketball, I had to go to church. She got a job for Union Planters Bank and told me that it was the perfect job on going to college. And so I was attending Rhodes College and needed a job because I was on my own, independent, away from my family. Moved out when I was 18 and interviewed with a wonderful woman who I'm still in touch with today. She's one of my mentors. Her name is Teresa Wright. Interviewed with her, and she hired me as her 6th employee for the in-store program with Union Planters Bank. They were inside of Kmart's in Memphis, Tennessee, and our location was the one closest to FedEx. So all of the employees for FedEx came to my branch on Thursday nights. And I'm telling you, I saw some interesting characters and learned very early on about who to open accounts for, who you could cash checks for, and about banking real quick. Because my manager and my assistant manager, who at this time is my best friend of over 30 years, I learned a lot about banking and business owners and personal banking, loans, you name it, and kind of fell into the job because I'm supposed to be a high school history teacher.
Yeah, I saw that. So you've been a bank vice president since you were like a freshman in college, basically, then.
I had an opportunity to either be a teacher or go into management and management training at Union Planters. And it pays a little bit more to go into banking than it did teaching at the time. So, yeah, stayed in banking and grew up real quick, thanks to Teresa, because she almost fired me. So
she almost fired you?
Yeah, because at 21, you know everything. And I basically was running my staff off because they didn't do it the Sam way. And so they wanted to quit. And so she said that she would either fire me or fire all of them. And she said it was a lot easier to replace me than to replace all of them. So she gave me a chance, put me on probation and mentored me and learned really quick that there's more ways to skin a cat than the way Sam did things. So grew up real quick.
So that at a very young age, not many people would take that very well.
Oh, no. I cried, bawled my eyes out. Yeah.
But I bet you it is a pivotal point for you, though.
Huge. Learned the term emotional intelligence real fast from Teresa and have never looked back. So when people tell me that I'm tough. Yes, I know it, but I also have a big heart and take care of those that are in my inner circle. So,
well, and that's one thing about you. I mean, you are somebody that I look to as a resource, because I know if there's a problem, whether it's financial or anything, I know that I could come to you and you might not be the person to help me, but you know somebody to point me to that will help. And you are what I would call a true servant leader.
well, that's a huge compliment, and I appreciate that, because I hope when I, pass on, that people will say that about me, because I do love to serve. I really want people to know me as that type of person. So
So
yeah.
what got you out of Memphis, Tennessee? And you're not, if I remember, you're not from Memphis, Tennessee.
No, the accent probably gives it away, but I was born in Alabama. Huge Alabama fan. But my dad.
What, the state of Alabama? You're a fan of the state of Alabama, or?
I was born in Dothan, but grew up in Walker County, Jasper, and so very huge University of Alabama fan, and even
okay.
Received a scholarship to go there. But love and romance kept me in Memphis, and that's why I'm at Rhodes, or was at Rhodes College.
So you had an opportunity to go to UBA, and romance took you to Memphis?
My dad actually retired from the Army, and my sister told my dad that she wanted to live in Memphis, where Elvis Presley had Graceland. So my dad moved us to Memphis, Tennessee, because of Elvis.
And then you got there and looked at it one time and said, "That's it."
I was like, "This is all." So yeah. So I went to high school and college in Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what eventually got you here to the great city of Atlanta?
From after college, got an opportunity to transfer with Union Planners to Nashville. In Nashville, that's where I met my now ex-husband, and we have two beautiful twin daughters who are at the age of 20. One, of course, is at, like you said, at Bama, and one is at South Carolina. But he got the opportunity to go into pharmaceutical sales, and the job was in Atlanta. And so in 2005, July, actually, we moved down here to Atlanta, and I transferred with Union Planner / Regions Bank at the time, and then got recruited to SunTrust. So we moved down to Atlanta, and I haven't looked back.
You have not looked. I've got kind of a similar story. Just once you get here, it's like it becomes home.
It really does. There's I can't find a reason to leave, because it's centrally located in between Tuscaloosa and Columbia, South Carolina. I can't beat it.
It has to be interesting household with two, not only twin daughters, but twin daughters that go to very rival schools.
Yes, especially next year, 2025, South Carolina goes to Alabama for a football game. So we've already got the house rented out, everything ready to go. So yeah,
you were ready to go. Well, and I know how special and how everything you do is for your daughters. I remember something you told me about something you have planned for them for their big trip coming up after graduation. You've been planning that for a few years.
Yeah, we actually just talked about it, because my South Carolina daughter is going to be doing an internship / travel to Europe next summer when they turn 21. But when she gets back, we're going to go in August before she starts back her senior year. We're going to go to Vegas for their 21st birthday. And then when they graduate college, we're going to go to Europe. So yeah, I've been saving up for that for a while.
Yeah, I knew about the Europe. I didn't know about Vegas. That might be more expensive than Europe.
Oh, but every kid needs to go experience Vegas at 21, I think. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, going back to the business side, as you continued your path up to where you are today, tell us about some pivotal kind of moments in your career that really put you in the position you are. And the position you are is, I have spoken to many people in Atlanta, and I hear one thing about you, even from people in the industry, is that you are one of the best business bankers in Atlanta. So how do you get that kind of reputation of a sea of banking professionals and bankers everywhere?
Well, I appreciate people saying that. And I get up every day, of course, to do this and make sure my kids have what they need to be successful, and hopefully have an example for what they want to do. One is going to be a special education teacher, and one is going to be a athletic trainer in the future. Hopefully I'll see her on ESPN one day. But when I got over here to Atlanta and Michael got his job in pharmaceuticals, I got the opportunity to work for an amazing leader at SunTrust. And he's now with another organization, as well as a lot of us, because SunTrust just changed and now they're a different organization with a different name. But that team that I worked for and worked with in the North Fulton market, those 10, 12 individuals, I mean, we were the tightest family possible, and we all looked after each other and educated each other. If one person knew something, we shared that knowledge with one another. And I think that's what makes great coworkers, great leaders, great bankers, is not being afraid to share the knowledge, not only with their clients, but also with each other, so that we can all get better. You're only as strong as the weakest link on your team. And we wanted to make sure that all of us knew how to do something, how to get in touch with somebody, how to get better, so that our clients could be taken care of at all times. And we trusted each other to go and take care of each other's clients, so that each other could go on vacation. Or if somebody got sick, we took care of each other. When someone got sick, I know I ended up with cancer, and that entire team and entire family over at SunTrust came to my aid and helped take my kids to school, provided me with food, and just allowed me to heal and become a better person because of it. So they just were the best, and I had the best partner. And she again is at another institution right now. But she was just amazing. I mean, she taught me so much from just being a servant individual, because she would check on me and my family and take care of my family. And those kind of things are what you need to do on a regular basis in your job. Remember people's birthdays, remember people's anniversaries, remember special events in people's lives. And that will lead into the professional stuff and building that trust that you want with individuals, that you actually care. So it was a great group of individuals. And then we all dispersed around 2013, 2014 to other organizations. And it's ironic that we're all back kind of together now, 2022, 2023, at one, if not two organizations. We're all back together again. So it's pretty funny how it all works out. So
let's take a moment for a quick word from our sponsor. This episode of the Growth Catalyst Show was brought to you by Transcendent Sales Solutions. Whether your company is facing uncertainty, declining sales, or resource limitations, Transcendent Sales has the solution. Their team has decades of experience helping businesses find alignment to meet their growth goals and transforming underperforming sales organizations into revenue-producing market leaders. They take a hands-on, results-oriented approach to solving sales challenges. Visit transcendentsales.com to learn more and subscribe to the bi-weekly Growth Catalyst newsletter for insightful growth strategies. Transcendent Sales Solutions, empowering businesses to reach new heights. And now back to the show.
One thing about you is you're so intentional. And I know people that are out, and there's a lot of great servant leaders, but you are so intentional about just, checking up on people and just checking and see how people are doing. And that's something that's really special about you.
I want people to know that I hear them, and I want people to know that I genuinely care if something happens, like the birth of a child, the death of something in their family, an event that's coming up that they've been planning. I think it's important. I mean, I don't think you would drop the hint or tell me about it if it wasn't important or intentional. So I think we're given two ears and one mouth for a reason. So utilize them the proper way. And so I hope communication is key, and I hope people understand that. My boyfriend laughs at me because we start with questions when I get home. Hey, how was your day? What was important? What was the best part of your day? What would you like to have seen different in your day and stuff? And he's like, God, we talk more than I've ever talked in any relationship. And I'm like, but it's what generates and creates memories. So
communication is definitely key.
Yeah.
If we talk about communication with business owners,
yeah.
I am amazed on how many. One of the questions I always ask a business owner in my discovery or early in the engagement is, so who's your banker? And I can't tell you how many times that I hear like, oh, I just use, customer service at this, or these are multi-million-dollar companies. They do not know who they do not have a business banker. It just amazes me.
Yeah. The first answer they typically come up with, Dan, is, who's your banker? Oh, it's Wells Fargo. No, that's not your banker. Who do you bank with over at Wells Fargo? Oh, it's Lucy, the teller. No, Lucy takes care of that deposit or the withdrawal that you need, or she provides you with a set of, checkbooks or something. Who actually takes care of answering your questions or giving you suggestions or financial advice or pointing the direction of someone who can guide you with sales or something of that nature? Introduces you to Dan Mahony. Bankers don't do that. Yes, they should. They should. Bankers get paid, I think, a very nice salary to get out there and network in the market, meet people, and they should find out what those people do so that they can connect business owners on a regular basis. So business owners can concentrate on what they do well. And then we can put them in front of the individuals to help them make the decisions on a daily basis to make their businesses grow. If we're not doing that, we're not doing it. We're not doing our job.
Well, and it's looking at banking proactively versus reactively. And I see a lot of when somebody does ask, do you know a banker? It's like, okay, so you must have a problem that you need. But so talk about that on how and I know you're a planner. Tell me about your planning you do with your clients from a banking perspective.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like insurance, banking is a commodity. People like to whittle it down all to price. But if you sit down, at least on an annual basis, I prefer more frequently, but at least on an annual basis with your banker at the table, your CPA, and your business attorney, and all of us are sitting together and we're all on the same page of what your goal is for the next 12 months, the next 3 years, the next 5 years. What are you wanting to accomplish? Whether it's hiring one additional person or starting the process of, selling your company or buying another company, we'll sit down and we'll ask those critical questions to find out how are we going to get to those next steps. My partner over in my private wealth area, we had a call yesterday, thanks to Nick Ryder with Malden Jenkins. He made an introduction and the call was supposed to last maybe 30 minutes. We were on the phone for an hour and a half, finding out how he even came up with the idea to purchase the company he wanted to purchase. And it's not because he had a passion for that company. It's just because he likes to tinker around with gadgets and stuff, and ended up finding out ways for him to maybe secure the next big idea, different ways to finance things, avenues, 4 different ways to finance it if he wanted to, ways to gift financing, how is he going to hire the next people, because he doesn't really have a sales staff. So your name was jotted down on the books. I mean, just different things of that nature is what we went over. So again, a 30-minute conversation went to an hour and a half, and he's like, can we go ahead and schedule the next one? So it's a fun conversation when we really get to explore and find out what someone wants to do.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty common from you. Those initial 30-minute calls usually go a lot longer, right?
Yes.
Because I've known a couple of them we've been involved in. It's like, yeah, the next thing you know, we are ordering dinner.
Yes. And I get the look when my phone rings. Are you going to answer that? And I'm like, yeah, I need to answer that. And they're like, come on. So, yeah.
Again, banking has been in the news a lot this year, and
Yes.
there's a lot of angst in the marketplace just about banking in general. And talk about that a little bit. And I know that's a very broad question, but what's going on? Tell us in layman's terms, really what's going on, and if we should be worried and what we should be looking for and looking out for.
You said in the last year, Dan, it feels like since March of 2020, banking's been in the news along with health.
Well, they were giving away money in 2020. It was like, printing money and getting monopoly money turned into real. And now it's definitely changed. So.
Yeah, it definitely has. We all knew interest rates were going to start increasing. It was just a matter of when it was going to start increasing. And if you were having those good conversations with your strategic partners, you should have been planning for it. A good banker, if for instance, you wanted to go and, get a line of credit, Dan, hopefully that banker not only figured out if you could afford prime financing. So back then it was 3.25%. They hopefully were stressing that financing and saying, could Dan afford it if interest rates jumped up 2%? Could Dan figure it out and afford a jump to 7% financing? Could Dan afford 10% financing if we got to 10% rates? That's what a good banker should figure out, if he could, if you could afford those payments on a regular basis on your cash flow. And so that's what we were having to do beginning of this year with the Fed increasing rates and the Fed increasing them, as fast as they have. But also customers not only have this idea that if loan rates are increasing, then deposit rates should increase and they should match, but that's not how it works. And so our money has gotten expensive on the loan side, and people are still borrowing. People are wishing they'd borrowed a year ago, but they still need money. And a lot of people are working on debt right now. But people are also looking to earn, if they have cash and it's sitting on their books, they're wanting to earn some good interest rates. But people need to be a little bit leery if they're getting offers for, 6 and 7% interest on their money market accounts or things other than investments. I would just ask some really good questions on how quickly can I get my money? Where's this money being placed? There's some people you want to strategically talk to make sure your money's in a safe, sound place and it's accessible if anything happens. And yes, you heard the word Moody's recently on how they rated banks. And a lot of banks did get what we call downgraded. But you need to ask the question, is my bank still an investment grade bank? There's a line that we draw, and the top portion of the banks are called investment grade banks, and that's good. And below the line, they're technically called junkie banks. So just find out where your bank is located on that spectrum, and just keep in mind you want an investment grade bank.
And what is the difference in that with that? What is the difference on that? Is it because of the amount of assets that are in place, or what determines the line basically?
How strongly, where you place your cash that you have when you have it, and where are you lending it? What type of loans are you doing? Are all of your loans in risky type avenues and ventures, or are they spread out among different industries and sectors or different products? And then is your cash, are you out there and keeping it on your books, or are you investing in it to bring back income so that you can lend it out? They look at all factors. FDIC's been in all of the banks right now checking all this stuff to see what are your risk management practices, what are your liquidity practices. Everybody's getting examined pretty hard right now. So that's what you want to look at.
So as a business owner, talk to me, talk to all of the listeners as business owners right now in this climate. What should we be thinking about right now as we think kind of short, medium, and long term? Love to hear your perspective.
Oh, great question. Really, you need to be sitting down and you need to have a game plan for your short-term cash, your liquid cash. So does it need to be in an operating account? How much of that can you actually reserve into some type of emergency fund, whether that be in a money market fund, or do you need to put it in some investment vehicle? And if it is an investment vehicle, you need to have an actual investment plan written out. What tolerance do you as a company, not you the owner, Dan, but you the company, what can y'all tolerate? Those are two separate plans, and have it in writing and work with someone so that you can have that money moving where it needs to move. And then also lending wise, what are you willing to pay cash for? Like there's a lot of deals out there that you can still get if you need vehicles, if you need equipment, financing, things of that nature. But what are you willing to finance? And what avenues are you willing to take from a financial perspective? There's a lot of credit card companies out there throwing 0% financing at you, but it's for 8 months, 9 months, 12 months. Can you get it paid off in that time frame? Because if you can't, then all of that interest that you hadn't been paying will all come back washing at you. And then you're sitting on 22% interest rates at that point. So what is your game plan in all of those key categories. And then if you have to go hire somebody, Dan, how are you going to pay for it? How, are you going to do bonuses? Are you going to have game plans for that? You need to write everything out and revisit it. Whether you do it semi-annually, quarterly, have regular strategic meetings with people that you trust and update it. Probably more now than you ever have before until we get out of this little hiccup called a, whether they want to call it a recession or not, until we get out of this hiccup in the road.
The R word.
Yes, the R word.
So final thoughts, Sam. Give me, tell us what's next for Samantha. I know your name is Sam, but I love calling you Samantha. What's next for Samantha?
Oh my gosh. Well, I just celebrated yesterday my 1-year anniversary at Pinnacle, which I'm very excited. I know. And it was
it seems like a lot longer than a year.
It does, but it went by so fast. And we as a company will celebrate our 23rd anniversary in existence in October, which I'm excited about. I've never worked for an organization that just loves to celebrate its employees and celebrate what we do as an organization for our employees, but also for our clients. But we're trying to get together some ideas short term in the next year to celebrate the clients in the Atlanta market and get the word out, because we're approaching our 5th year in the market. We actually started 19 and 20. So we're going to celebrate that. And where I fit into the picture is I'm trying to play a more strategic role in smaller businesses, smaller companies, meaning those that are 30 million and under coming to Pinnacle and getting to hear more about Pinnacle. And then for Sam, once I get that game plan in place, my favorite time of the year starts this Saturday with college football. Everybody likes Thanksgiving, Christmas, things of that nature. My holiday starts this Saturday. So I plan to go see several football games. I want to plan a nice, trip with my boyfriend, hopefully in the spring, get some more couples together and do some more couple events. With my kids going off to college and stuff, I'm starting my chapter because in 2025, I turned 50. So, I want to have a 50th.
50's the new 30.
I want to have a good 50th. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's
awesome. Well,
and I'll do this
yeah.
probably till I'm 55 or 60, depending on how it goes. So.
And then just early retirement for Sam.
60 is the plan. If I could hit 55, that would be awesome. But that's all depends on the market. So
there you go. And then you got to figure out, what do you do for your next act?
Oh, I'd love to travel, but that again is all dependent on money. You know how that goes.
That's right. Well, Sam, this has been great to have you on the show today. I really appreciate your insight that you gave all our guests, and thank you for coming on today.
Oh, that's amazing, Dan. I'm glad you're doing podcasts for people. I really do. I think it's awesome that you're doing it.
Great. Thanks, Sam.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Growth Catalyst Show. Remember, you can take these stories of growth and make them part of your own journey. Learn from them, draw inspiration, and let them guide your path of growth. I'm your host, Dan Mahony, and I look forward to our next journey together. If you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, keep growing.